Welcome to Widener's Weather Wagers with Sam. How we doing?
I'd like to say I'm doing good because I had some nice picks that churned a profit for the show, but I'm a bit crestfallen from one of the toughest defeats I've ever had to swallow. That Eagles game, that one hurt.
Tough for Eagles fan.
It's easier to, I think, sometimes lose when you don't play well.
Yeah.
When Jalen Hurts played the best game probably he's ever played, which has me excited for the future, and plays out of his mind like that, and you still lose, it kind of hurts and it stung. And you thought you were going to get a chance to see one of those epic moments where Hurts would get the ball back down a field goal, and it's like, wow, this could be like a historical moment. And not even getting the chance. As I said, if we would have got the chance and he would have got strip sacked or picked, kind of like when they strip sacked Brady or a pick, you're like, hey, they had their chance at blew it. It just hurt the way it happened. So, at least
I felt overall it was a really good game to watch. And then, I was pulling for Kansas City, and when that happened, in a way I was happy, but in a way I was like, I really didn't want it to end like that. I really wanted to just pick the field goal. Let's see what happens. Go to overtime maybe.
I saw a lot of fans kind of felt the same way, that didn't have a rooting interest either way.
Yeah.
Wanted, to see kind of what would have happened at the end there. But hey, at least the future does look bright. If Jalen Hurts can play like that on a big stage, you have to figure he's probably going to have a pretty bright career. So I'll take that positive out of it. We can jump right into our Super Bowl recap from our special show last week. Obviously, Stu's not here. We'll quickly just recap his picks. The first pick he gave out was Chiefs first time out of the game. This was tough. There wasn't a timeout till late in the first half, and it just worked out to whoever was going to be having the ball and calling timeouts on defense probably to get the ball back. And it didn't work out. So that was a loser. That lost 1.15 units. It was minus 115. Another one that was kind of tough, and I didn't look to see what the final margin was. I don't know if you did. The Chiefs' longest punt over the Eagles' longest punt.
I mean, I think it was 58-47 or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
When that happened, I thought the punt, and I'd have to look at it, got touched. And kind of ricocheted a little bit further down the field. It was just kind of unlucky to lose that one. Now I did think Townsend, and here's the thing, there wasn't that many punts either. So that kind of hurt. But obviously if the Eagles are if he's going to get a 58-yard punt, no matter luck how it happened, it was going to be tough to win that. Townsend hit a 47-yarder, which isn't bad. And if you tell me going in that the Eagles are going to need to have a 48 to win, I like the chances, but that's another L there. Stu minus 2.7. And then a wash the last two picks. Over 1.5 fourth down conversions hit at minus 165 to win a unit. And then Dallas Goedert did not get in the end zone. That lost a unit. So Stu was minus 2.7 units. Let's get to the winner of some of the winning picks that were given out. And I like to get rid of the losers out of the way first. I gave out a first quarter over Eagles 7.5. This had a great shot to hit. Eagles instantly scored and got the ball back in the first quarter, and that was one of the few times they did not score.
You're right.
So could have picked up almost a unit there, instead drop a quarter unit. And then we also lost another one that I feel like it was just another odd circumstance for me. I mean, if that penalty doesn't happen at the end, the Eagles are going to get the ball back. They're going to be going for it on any fourth down situation. And I personally, late in the game when it was a close game and we were struggling to get any pass rush, I wanted them to go for it on fourth down and roll the dice. You either get it or you give it back to them and they'll score like they have been, or maybe hold them to a field goal. But we didn't hit the 2-unit loss on the either team converts a fourth in their own territory. So we were minus 2.25 units there, but we come right back. We got the over 5.5 third downs. I think they had 10, 11.
That was an easy one.
So that gets 2 units back. We're only down at 0.25 unit. And then here it is. Let me put it up on the screen for all the kids to take a look at here. I have, I put together a special great graphic for here. Octopussy. Plus, I finished plus 3 units because I hit for 3.25 units. And I believe if you shopped around, there may have been a plus 1,400 out there. Somebody told me, but I had plus 1,300, 4-quarter unit, the Octopussy, Jalen Hurts. And if you remember what I said on the show, I believed that if it were to happen, it would be Kelsey or Hurts.
Yep.
It was Hurts. You couldn't specifically bet on who would get it, or I would have recommended to bet on Hurts at 1,000,000,000 to 1. But that was a thing of beauty. Plus, it tied the game for my team. I was going nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So all totaled, even with our guests going minus 2.7 units, I go plus 3 units, and the show pulls out a 0.3 unit profit, which is great. Hey, any profit's good. It brings me to a season total record-wise of 16-11 and plus 7.2 units. Mike stands at 24-9, and on Mike's there, it's they've all been -1. The losses have all been minus 110. So yeah, you're holding strong. You're up 14.1 units. I have our. Let's see here. I might have done the. Give me 1 second here. It's fine here. I have the show, and I could be. I have it here 18.8. It's either 18. I think it's 18. It's either 18.8 or I believe it's 18.8. We were 38 and 18 coming in, and then we went 0.8. It might be 18.6. We'll have to take a look at it. It's somewhere in the 18s. It's been great. I mean, this is since the onset of the show. I just
forget what week it was that we started this.
Late. That's the thing. We started this late in the season, late in the college season too, which is a lot of opportunities.
And the college is that's kind of where I get a lot of opportunities for the weather games. There's a lot of games to choose from all over the country. So that once that season is over, then it dwindles down a little bit for me. But yeah, I mean, we started late. I don't remember if it was kind of like halfway through or what. When we started doing this, but I mean, it couldn't have gone any better. I mean, I think it's been great. It's been fun doing the shows, and we've been rolling a pretty good profit here. So look forward to the seasons next year. But in the meantime, what do we got?
We're going to pause for 1 second because my TV just went on. I'll just cut this part out, and the background noise.
All right.
Apparently pausing live TV down here only pauses it for so long. All right. It's fine. As long as I create a couple second buffer here, be fine. All right. I'm going to count us down and then give a 2-second buffer. 3, 2, 1. Well, what we got, Mike, is we've got football this weekend. Not everybody knows it, but I really like this. Welcome to the XFL. It's football. They're professional players, a lot of college players, a lot of guys that played in the NFL, USFL, the other iterations of the XFL when it got canceled kind of during COVID. So we've talked about this, and I really think this is going to be great. I mean, there's not a ton of people out there that really are going to follow this league as closely. So I think there's opportunity. That means for betting. And as well as I will be playing DFS, daily fantasy, in it. So multiple opportunities. I want people to tune in and know we're going to talk a little bit of XFL for a while now because there's no NFL or college to talk about. So
this is exciting. And and what do we have 6 of the 8 teams that are playing outdoors. So we could have some weather. I'll be doing weekly updates, checking for weather, seeing if there's anything going on. There's 2 teams that are playing in domes. That was St. Louis and San Antonio, I believe.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll kind of back right in action. There's no layoff here. We're gonna roll right into this, and It's
I'm
exciting. It
pumped.
is. And I'll be honest, I haven't really ever followed the XFL. You've been doing a whole ton of research, and you know a lot about it. And I've been kind of looking into it a little bit. I'm going to focus on the weather as usual, and
Yeah.
there isn't really anything this week. We have 4 games. One is in San Antonio, so one will be in a dome. The other 3 games are outside. We got one in Houston, we got one in Arlington, and one in DC. Right now, forecasts look pretty calm for Saturday and Sunday across most of the country, actually. So I'm going to leave week 1 totally up to you. Give us what you got, a little background of what you like, and let's see how it goes.
And everybody, again, please subscribe. Widener's Weather Wagers is the YouTube site. That way this will basically push when we release a video. And even probably more importantly, just in terms of for betting, follow at under Mike 626, because if I shoot him a play I like, he'll probably tweet it right out to keep the line where it is. And then on his weather plays, for sure, other people are going to be out there looking at weather, I'm sure, as well. That's why Mike likes to look at it, in advance and try to forecast what it's going to do. So follow him. So when the plays get released, you're able to get on it before the line moves. So, like you had said, I'll go over real quick here. Week 1, Vegas travels to Arlington. Now, Arlington is actually the home of the league. All the league's teams will be quote unquote based there and practice throughout the week there. That's their home base. And then unlike the other years, they will actually go, like you had said, to their own actual home sites to play the games, which is nice because I believe it was maybe the USFL or something did where every game was played in the same town. And so this will actually have like a true like home field atmosphere, which is nice. So Vegas travels to Arlington. They really don't travel though because they'll be in Arlington practicing. But it's Arlington minus 2.5. Total of 37. Arlington is one of the preseason favorites to win it all, but again, it's not a huge favorite or anything like that. Then we've got Orlando is at Houston, and Houston's minus 2.5. 35.5 is the total. These lines are courtesy of DraftKings. Then we have St. Louis is at the other domed team, I believe, San Antonio. And that's St. Louis minus 2.5, total of 36.5. A lot of folks are projecting San Antonio to be one of the weaker teams, St. Louis to be a little bit one of the stronger. So on the road, 2.5 point favorite. And last but not least, here's where my play is going to come in. And it is on the homestanding DC Defenders. Okay. So let's get this up here. I'm going to put it right up so you can see it. DC Defenders minus 1.5. The total's 35.5. We're not doing anything with the total, but the DC Defenders is my play. And I want to kind of go over a little bit there's slight nuance changes in the rules. We were talking a little bit before the show about it, and these totals are very low. And part of it is because there is running clock on incompletions, unlike the NFL. There's running clock pretty much right away on out of bounds, unlike the NFL. And that's going to change up the amount of, I think, plays that really happen. But they do add first down timeouts less than 2 minutes. And then they go to stopping the clock as well, less than 2 minutes on any incompletion or run out of bounds. So the DC Defenders minus 1.5 against the Seattle Sea Dragons. That's my play. And this is a 2-unit play. I've really looked into this, and I think, odds makers, bookmakers, it's early in the season. Like they can't really have a true feel. They don't know what to put out for the line. And everything I've read, here's why I like the DC Defenders. They have it right in their name, Defenders. Greg Williams is the defensive coordinator. Greg Williams was the defensive coordinator on the Saints when they went to the Super Bowl. He's the guy that kind of did the whole bounty gate, if you remember, where he was putting out bounties on players.
Okay.
And got himself, I'm pretty sure, in a bit of trouble. And Sean Payton ended up getting suspended because of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's their D coordinator. That means they're going to be physical and aggressive. And early in the season, I don't see how the defense won't be ahead of the offense. It typically is
Yeah.
how it works the mostly. Defense ahead of offense. So they're going to be bringing it. I believe their starting quarterback, and I might butcher his last name. They have actually 3 quarterbacks I really like on this roster, but I think the starter is going to be Jordan Ta'amu. It's TA'AMU. He was the starting quarterback at Ole Miss in college, and he played the last time they had the XFL. He played for St. Louis, I believe, and then he played for Tampa Bay in the USFL. He's a mobile quarterback, so I think if you can always cover up a little bit deficiency sometimes with the line. And I think that's really going to play into their offensive coordinator from what I've read, what I've seen. Fred Keiss is his name, and he is supposedly going to be running a little bit of a college-type offense or a mobile quarterback. And that's pretty much spreading the NFL too, is very important. And they had the number 1 pick at running back, and they took Abram Smith, who I think is going to get a ton of work. He's a very physical, strong running back. So I think that goes hand in hand with their defense being the strength. Greg Williams, you want to pair them up with a team that typically is going to have, maybe a strong running game, grind them out on both sides. So I think Abram Smith, I was talking about DFS. I think he might be a popular play as the issue, but I like him as a DFS option as well. But I really like this team, and I feel like knowing that you feel like your team's going to have a solid edge on the defensive side, giving 1.5. You could probably play money line as well at minus 120, 125, maybe 130, depending on the site. But minus 1.5, I really like this. 2 units, DC Defenders. I took a look. There's a lot of very interesting players in this league that played in college that I followed very closely. I'm looking forward to seeing Max Borgai. He was a running back for Mike Leach at Washington State. Rest in peace, Mike Leach, who caught a ton of passes in Mike Leach's. Now, Mike Leach ran an air raid, which is probably different one from what they're running, but still, he's very versatile. And he's going to fit into their system. Again, this is just general players I'm looking at now for DFS. If anybody's tuning in, that's going to take a couple shots, maybe on DraftKings, $15, $300,000 pool, throw a couple hundred. Max Borgai is somebody to definitely take a look at. I would stay away from Seattle Sea Dragons offensive players because, like I said, I think DC Defenders are going to shut them down. And there is a nice hookup on the one team. As long as Kyle Sloter starts at quarterback, he's already very familiar with their tight end, Sal Cannella, and they've played previously together. And these leagues, anybody that has any type of connection, I feel like he's going to have an enormous advantage over these guys that have never played together. So you figure if you play with a guy a little bit in college or a little bit in another pro league, and these guys, they only have had so much time to really get amped up. So those are going to be 2 guys I'm looking at in DFS as well. And I do plan as the season goes on to really on here get a little bit more in depth and give out maybe some key plays for DFS. But those are just some guys I'm looking at and considering. My main thing here is DC Defenders, 2-unit play. Let's get it.
I like it.
Yep. So that's the XFL look for this week. I know, like you said, we'll know most weeks there's going to be 3 weather affected games. There's a chance some weeks 4, some weeks only 2, but at least there'll always be at least 2 weather affected games, meaning like they're at least outside. And that'll give you an opportunity to, pounce on something. The totals are very low. So like I said, there's opportunity that maybe, this league is going to be very fluid in terms of how the lines move week to week and what teams the point to. Like if they come out this week and all 4 games are somehow scoring in the 50s, which I don't think they will, but if they are, you could see these lines next week being low 40s.
I'm interested to see how that plays out with these lines. The first week here, all in the 30s. To me, it's like a league like this. You're thinking, they're probably going to go out and score points. Who knows about the defense and everything. But from what you were saying, at least DC got a pretty stellar defense. But let's
I
see. I
mean,
mean, it should be interesting to see how it plays out. And how many weeks are there in this? Is there?
I believe if I saw correctly, and I was taking a look at the schedules earlier, I think, and they were going to try to play. I thought originally like somewhat of a round robin,
Okay.
but then I was like, that would mean a 14-game schedule, and I just don't see that happening. So I believe last I saw it was a 10-game schedule.
Okay.
And I think that would allow you, what they're doing is to play 4 teams in the other division, and then your division, you play everybody twice. So that would give you
Okay.
10. So a 10-game schedule.
Yeah.
So we'll have plenty of opportunity, and we're going to have plenty of action on football, which, everybody wants to bet on football.
And everyone likes action, so.
Yeah, and if you've been following us, you are winning, and that's really the bottom line. And we don't plan to stop. Like I said, we just want to keep this train rolling, and we'll even probably keep just so people a separate XFL record that we'll update each week, so you know where we stand there. And hey, give us comments on here. Fire comments at us both on Twitter. Ask questions, and we'll answer what we think. We want to be interactive, and maybe Mike and I have to talk. We think that we've got something good here in terms of when Mike's knowledge with weather, and my ability to, and when I really hammer down and look at a game and a plethora of games to come up with some good angles. So. Maybe we might have to do like an XFL giveaway or something to drum up. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll I don't know. We'll find an XFL hat and do a giveaway. We'll come up with something.
We'll figure something out. We'll do something.
Yeah,
the NFL that was a trial. We started it, see how it went. It went better than expected. I mean,
right. And you were trialing long before we started the show. I mean, we're not counting.
It got to a point where it's like, I got to do something with this. So we did it. It went well. Now we're going to start. We're going to start looking at other things. And I like your ideas, and I like your play. But we'll be good. So we'll be back every week.
Yeah, and we're going to try to. I was saying to you earlier, I sent you a message, and we're going to try to even splice these up maybe a little bit. And so for some of our folks that maybe just don't have the attention span to watch the entire show, there's people that are like that, to maybe throw out a short out there. Like Mike had done some shorts in the past. 1 minute, hey, here's our pick. Here's a couple DFS plays. We can do that as well. There's a lot of options, but we want some engagement. We want to talk to people, and we don't care if you're bashing us, because we'll give it right back at you when we win. So
absolutely. All right. Good deal.
I got nothing else.
All set. All right. Well, thanks a lot. And we'll be back hopefully with a win, and we'll talk more next week.
Later.
See ya.